Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Dave. I'm a full-time eBay and Vinted reseller. If you're new here, hello. If you are new here, go and check out my other videos. I've done a good few the last few weeks. So if reselling is your type of thing, drop a like on my videos and subscribe, and that'd be great. So I'm just going to do a little video of what's sold recently on eBay and Vinted. Before I get into that, I want to say a big massive thank you first of all for all the new subscribers. That really gives me the push to do more videos, more content. I'm enjoying doing these. While I'm on that subject, I want to give a big thanks to Andy, the ginger flipper. So basically, he's got a YouTube channel, so go and check him out. It's another reseller. He's only recently, sort of not long gone full time doing it. He reached out on Instagram. He picked up some Trackmaster trains. Thomas the Tank Engine was just asking, how's the best way to list them, for what price, what's the names, what carriages go with certain ones. So I gave him some advice about that. He said thanks, really appreciate it, and I'll follow you on YouTube, subscribe to you. Now at the time, I'd stopped doing YouTube. I only did about 6 videos, something like that, 5 videos, and I got quite self-conscious with them. Thought, don't know what people are going to think of me, think of like what I'm saying, whether they're interested. And he was like, no, honestly, he said, you want to try it again, go back to it. Don't think about what people are thinking, what they're saying or whatever. Just do it for you. If you do it and you start enjoying it, great. Give it another go. So I did, and I've really started to enjoy doing them. I haven't put many videos out, like I say. I probably put 7 or 8 or 9, something like that out the last 3 or 4 weeks. But I'm really enjoying doing them now. Got into them. I'm only going to tell it as it is, being honest and honest about it. And Andy, his videos are exactly the same, straight to the point. No sort of dilly-dallying, messing around with, glamorising it all. He's very honest about his journey. If things aren't going great, he'll talk about that. If things are going great, he'll tell you about it. That's what you should be watching, so that sort of content really. You do get a lot of YouTubers on there, they're always going, oh yeah, I've done this, I've sold this, I've done that, making it sound fantastic. Weeks aren't always like that. If you're a seasoned reseller, you'll know that eBay is like, it goes up here, goes down here very quickly. Vinted has been great, I must admit. I've started cross-listing a lot of stuff on there. I didn't like it at first. I've mentioned that in a few previous videos because of the whole having to wait for your money. But to be honest with you, if you get it out nice and quickly, then obviously it normally gets with 2 or 3 days. It's with them anyway, and if your stuff's okay, then they pay anyway. So it's not really a big risk, which is what I thought it would have been. And I've done really well on Vinted just lately, so I'm glad I've started to push that, because eBay had slowed down a bit. And like normally January, which was last month, is really good for me. February is normally really good, but I've found it very, very slow in January. I found it terrible, and if it wasn't for Vinted backing it up, then it would have been a bit messy, I can't lie. So definitely got into Vinted. So yeah, go and check out the Ginger Flipper. As I say, great content. Anyway, right, let's get into it, and I'll show you what's sold on eBay and Vinted. So let's take it. Right, so first up, we've got this vintage 1949 book, The Doctor Wears 3 Faces. This sold for £9.99 plus £3.45 shipping. Very old book, but in nice condition, to be honest. There's not much foxing on it or anything like that. It was picked up about 8 months ago with another load of books. Doesn't owe me anything, so £9.99 out the door. That's happy days. Next one is Flashman in the Great Game and Flashman, Angel of the Lord. Now these are the audio books that I picked up. If you've watched one of my recent videos, you'll see that I picked up hundreds of these, and they are selling really well, considering I only paid 30 quid for all of them. They do seem to be quite popular. So one lady in particular bought both of those. So those were £9.99 each, with £3.99 shipping. So that's those out the door. Let's move them over there. Next we have more audio books, cassettes. So this was a little bundle that I put together of TV classics. So you've got Lovejoy, Kavanagh QC, The Likely Lads, One Foot in the Grave, Yes Prime Minister, and another Yes Prime Minister. So those sold for £8.99, £3.99 shipping. Because what I've been doing with the singular ones like this, that are not like the big sort of bulky ones like this, I've just been bundling up into sort of 6s or 10s, depending on what titles they are, which has helped, you know, sort of shift them. So that's those. Then we've got yet again another audio book, cassettes. This is the Mummy Case by Elizabeth Peters. Again, I've mentioned in a previous video, there seem to be a lot of these Elizabeth Peters titles in there, and they've been actually flying out the quickest. They seem to be quite popular. Now, this sold for £10 with £3.99 shipping. It's going global shipping. It's off to America. A guy bought, I think, 4 or 5 of them the other day. You would have seen on my previous video. And he's bought again. So I'm pretty sure, obviously, he won't even have received the other ones yet. So he's obviously an Elizabeth Peters fan, and obviously he must struggle to get those in America. So yeah, that's going out the door. As I say, £10, £3.99 shipping. Next one, we've got Thomas the Tank Engine, Tommy Tractor, Farquhar train station, which is, that's there, 2 little trees, 2 little pieces of track and a buffer, and that sold for £7.19. I did do a 20% off coupon. Well, it wasn't a coupon really, it was a markdown sort of thing that I did. So there was a lot of old stock I wanted to shift, and I wasn't bothered if I got 5 or 10 quid for it or whatever. So I dropped loads of stuff on a 20% thing, so stuff was selling that way as well, which was really good, really good. So I got rid of that. Next one is Thomas the Tank Engine character called Old Slow Coach from the Ertl range. Now, normally the Ertl range ones of these are die-cast metal. This is all plastic. This sold for £6.39, £3.99 shipping. I've had that knocking about for months, to be honest with you, so happy to get rid of that, see that go out the door. Next up is this vintage 1964 Valiant Annual, in really good condition actually, considering it's from 1964. Nice full spine, nice bright vibrant cover, absolutely lovely inside. Hasn't been price clipped, which is what the collectors really like. Nice and fresh. I mean, look at that, absolutely fantastic. You know, some really nice illustrations in there again, some good stories. I'm going to say the artwork, you just don't see that anymore in annuals and comics. It's all very, I don't know, there's not much writing, that's for sure. What they're saying, kids can't read anymore, I don't know, or because of tablets and iPhones, they just haven't got the attention span, I suppose, to sit there and read something like this. But absolutely superb condition. Sold one of these before for 30 quid. And this one, I mean, if you look at a tiny thing like that, it's nothing major, but it does knock the price down a little bit. So that was $15.99 and $3.99 shipping. That's sold for. Next up, I need to go into the other room for this, so bear with me. So here we've got an 84-piece Trackmaster Revolution track set, all different types of you got your stop and go, couple of track pieces with trees on, 2 of those. That sold for £29 3 with £5.99 shipping. This was part of a big bundle I picked up of track and trains and all sorts of stuff. This was the last track set of this type, the grey track Revolution track that I've got left. So I was happy to see that go out the door. So yeah, £29.03, £5.99 shipping. That's gone. So next up we have Tommy Tomica Thomas Tank Engine vintage train. I've got 2 of these. I've still got one listed. There's a red one. I only listed these last week. Basically the terminals needed cleaning up on both of them, so I kind of left them. I generally try and get the ones that are working like listed and, you know, up on there as quick as I can to try and get some money back and start getting the profit in. clean this up. This one goes forwards and backwards. That's sold for £26.99 with £3.99 shipping. That's that one. Next up, we've got a vintage Topper Annual from 1963. It's not in the best condition, to be honest. You know, it's got a bit of discolouring there as it goes along. Also, it's got marks inside there. It's got an inscription, but I've listed, you know, when I did the listing, I described all this, I've put it in there. You know, if you're going to sell annuals, vintage annuals, and people are collecting them, you've kind of got to go into as much detail as possible, because they will, like, basically contact you if they find anything you haven't listed. And I mean anything, like it could be the small little scribble on one of the pages. So it does make listing a little bit more of a pain in the arse, because obviously you really have to go through detailed in case there's anything in there. Normally these, I've been selling, I had 3 of these, they were going for sort of 10 to 12 quid each, but this is sold for £6.99 because, like I say, it's really not in the best condition, with £3 shipping. But good to see that go out the door. Next one is, so I've done a little YouTube short on this, just a brief short, if you want to check that out. It is the Dandy Monster comic. It's a rare wartime annual from 1942. If you watch my recent videos, you'll see that I sold one for 200 quid, which was in way better condition. It's just had a little bit of the spine missing, so I could have asked for a lot more, but obviously because of the spine, a little bit of spine missing, it knocked it down a bit. But this has got like plastic on it. I don't know whether someone's wrapped it in it. There's about 8 pages missing. It's got an inscription. There's all fox in there. It's really not in the best condition at all, but if it's from 1942 and it was during the war, I mean, you've got to really expect that it's not, you know, it's not going to be in great condition, is it really? These things are very rare anyway, and also very rare to find in unreal condition. If you find one in unbelievable condition, you can be getting thousands for them. This sold on an auction, because basically I'm trying to get rid of the last ones I've got from the Scotland collection. If you remember, I mentioned picking up a load from Scotland last year. So this sold for £63 on auction, with £4.50 shipping. So it's nice to see that out the door now. Next one is a vintage Tonka truck, mudslinger pickup truck. This sold for £4.99 on auction. Again, I've had this knocking about for ages, tried to get rid of it for sort of 10 quid plus. I've even had it on Vinted. No one's looking at it, no one's interested, so I thought, you know what, started at £4.99 on auction, see what happens, and that sold last night, so that's going out the door, £4.99 and £3.99 shipping. And the next one is, okay, that's not in here either, so give me 2 seconds and I'll go and get that one. Okay, so this is a 14-piece set, Tommy Trackmaster, Thomas Tank Engine. It's the beige type track. So it's got 2 stations, well, little farm type thing, station, and then just some stations. There's not much there. You know, at the end of the day, you know, a little bundle like that. I've now completely forgot, because I've gone into the room, how much that sold for. So I'm gonna have to whiz all the way back in here, and it's £6.99. That's how much it went for. Right, let's have a look what we got here. Last one on eBay is Thomas the Tank Engine, talking, moving Mattel train from 2012. It makes noises, like sounds, and you press these buttons and he talks. And actually, I think if you press the button, he moves along on his own. I put that on an auction. I found this in the bottom of a box last week and thought, oh, have I not listed this? And looked at it and took the battery cover off. It was all clean in there anyway. I put the batteries in, it was working. I put it on auction for £4.99. That sold last night for £3.99 shipping. So that brings the eBay sales to the conclusion. I'll now go through some of the Vinted sales. So yeah, just before I go through the Vinted sales, like I said, I've started cross-listing loads of stuff onto Vinted now. I'm trying to get up a minimum of sort of 10, 15 a day off eBay onto Vinted. But even if I can't do that, if I'm really busy, I'll just do 5 while I'm eating my breakfast, or 10, do you know what I mean? And just so there's some going on there. And it's really working. I mean, like some books that I'm selling on there, I've had on eBay for ages, just not even getting a sniff. No one's even looking at them. Move them onto Vinted, and I think I only need a couple of quid from anyway, and they seem to be going, which is really good. And also I've got bundles set up. I mean, if you don't know about this, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, you can set bundles up on there. So if somebody buys more, the more items they buy, the more percentage they get off. And I've had quite a few just lately where I've done a bundle and just picked some of the stuff, because some people, I mean, there is other people on there obviously that buy off Vinted to try and resell on eBay, but my stuff I'm chucking on there is either going to be going for full price or close anyway, or it's old stuff that I only want a couple of quid for, because so if they want to do something like that and they think they can get more, then good luck. But at the end of the day, yeah, setting the bundle thing up, if you haven't already got that set up, go in the settings, have a look at that, because it doesn't half out, because they'll see something on there and they'll be like, hang on a minute, let's have a look at, you know, what else he's got on here, and they go through the rest of your Vinted items that are listed, and then they start adding some other stuff, and then obviously they send it you, and then you don't have to accept it, but like most of the time you look and think, bloody hell, yeah. I mean, the one I sold, I'll show you, the one I sold Saturday, I thought, okay, I'm happy all day long to accept this for what it is, because I've been struggling to shift some of this on eBay, so if it helps bring in some money doing the bundle, then yeah, no problem. So yeah, going forward, lots more going on Vinted. So let's have a look at those Vinted sales. Right, so first of all, we've got a Lado Bunty Girls Magazine Nostalgia 650 boxed toy. So really nice boxed. I mean, it's almost brand new. You know, it looks absolutely mint condition. So I saw that for £6.50. I've had that on eBay for about the last 4 months, I'd say, at £9.99. So if it was sold on eBay for £9.99, took the fees off, you know, it's not that far off the £6.50 I got on Vinted. So I only listed that I think Friday on there, and it's sold on the Saturday. So I was happy with that. So that's the first one. Next one we've got, here we go. So this is what I'm talking about. When I mentioned the books that I'm putting on there, this, I mean, let's cover the woman's modesty, guys. We don't want to be looking at that. It's disgusting, you dirty perverts. Anyway, Cranach, this is called. This sold for £3. I've had this on eBay for probably 8-9 months, probably for a £5, if I'm honest with you, and no one even looks at it whatsoever. I've really got no idea what this book's about. Lucas Cranach the Elder, the 15th and 16th centuries have been called the Golden Age. I don't know. Anyway, it's got a lot of different pictures of paintings by the looks of it, so obviously somebody's interested in that. But like I say, that sold for £3. Happy to sell books for that sort of price, because it all mounts up. I mean, you're going to be selling them for £1 or £2, not really be getting a lot of profit. It's going to take a while, but if you can get sort of £3 to £5 for some books on there, then brilliant. So yeah, that's gone out. Let's put that over there. Next one is, now these, found these again in a box. I think actually I did mention these in one of my videos, that I was going to list these up, these singular comics, because they're not worth anything much on their own. And after the fees and stuff on eBay, it was pointless. So it's not like they're a run or anything. It's just individual sort of things, really. And I've had these for ages. Like I say, I found them in the bottom of the box. So I listed them up. There's 16 comics there. I put them on eBay as well for a tenner. Did have quite a few views, sent offers out, didn't have anything. And then they sold for £7 on Vinted. So that's all profit, £7 with no fees. Happy to get rid of those. Next one is, the next one is a bundle of 5 different items there, as you can see. So it is, again, I listed these up last week, Dennis the Menace Dando Beanie die-cast model, and the guy also bought Desperate Dan. He bought, I think that's Nasha. He bought Bash Street Kids and Minnie the Minx. There's 2 vehicles in there, boxed. And randomly, to go with that, Civil War graphic book. Now, the graphic book has been listed on eBay for apps. And actually, do you know what? It's been on Vinted for a long time, and it's been on eBay for probably about 6 to 8 months easy. There's quite a few graphic novels. I've been thinking about just getting them all and bundling them up, just to get rid of them, because I'm fed up of seeing them. I honestly thought they'd do quite well. I did sell some when I first got these that just flew out, but for some reason these ones haven't gone. But yeah, so all that went for a grand total of £20, which I was happy to take because that I couldn't get rid of on eBay for even £3 or £4. I think I got that listed for a £5. These are only listed for I think £5 or something like that. So 5, 10, 15, 20 plus the book. I wasn't going to be getting much more on eBay after fees anyway, because I've reduced most of these, and I was actually thinking of bundling up loads of these. So I picked them up when I went to Scotland, just something extra he chucked in with all the animals that I'd got. So they really don't owe me anything because the better ones sold straight away for good money. So yeah, that little bundle's gone for £20, like I say. That's why you need to have the bundle setting on there. So that's that one. What else have we got? Now, this Coral Island book, I have no idea where it is. £4 it's sold for. I cannot find it. I've got to have another search. It's because it's been listed for so long on eBay, and I mean ages. So I moved it onto Vinted on Saturday morning, and it's sold the same day, weirdly, which is strange. Didn't take an offer, I only put it on for £4 and I paid the £4. Do you think I can find it? I honestly have no idea where it is. I've searched everywhere, but it's got to be somewhere, so I'm sure I'll come across it in the next couple of days and get it out. So I can't show you that one. Next one was a pocket pop keychain, Uncharted, A Thief's End. That sold for £2.50. I listed loads of these up on like a multi-listing on eBay about 6, 7, 8 months ago, probably longer, maybe even 10 months ago. Couldn't get rid of them. I took them to a car boot. I did really well at the car boot. But none of these sold. I got them all there, and this guy come up to me and he went, "You can buy them in Asda for £1 or something." I was like, okay, didn't realise that. And he said, "Well, you know, what have you got them listed on?" And because I told him I was a reseller as well, and I said, "Yeah, I've got them on eBay." I said, "I've got them on there for like £6, £7 each." He's going, "You ain't going to get that because you know they're in Asda for £1." So I was like, okay, fair enough. But anyway, I took them all off eBay, dumped them in a box, left them. When I went to my unit the other day, I bought a few of them back, and I thought, you know what, I'll pop one on Vinted. I'll pop one on and just see what happens. And literally, it sold within 2 days for £2.50. So I've got another 10, I think, of these. So I'll just keep chucking them on there till I get rid of them. They don't owe me absolutely nothing. They were part of a bundle I picked up off another eBay reseller. I've mentioned this before. He went back to teaching with his wife. They stopped reselling, and I bought all his stock off him really, really discounted. And these were in there. At the time, I thought, oh, brilliant, they're all boxed. I'll make a fair bit out of this, but I've slowly realised that they're not actually worth that much. But £2.50 on Vinted. Happy days. We'll put some more of them on. Last one on Vinted is Thomas the Tank Engine, Take Along Play. Gordon character. I had 2 of these, already sold one. Here's the other one. He basically just talks and lights up. Yeah, I think I've done another video where I've sold some of these before, probably other characters obviously. So that's gone for £7.99, which on Vinted stunned me because I've got this on eBay for £7.99, so after fees obviously you wouldn't be getting that. And a lot of the time I've been taking offers on these because you're punting really to get £7.99 from, but because I was selling for them, I thought, sod it, I'll put it on Vinted. Someone will probably offer me a £5 and I'll take it, but sold for £7.99 full price. So yeah, we'll take that all day long. Yep, so that wraps up all the Vinted sales. I've just got to get all this packed up now, get them over to the shop, the Vinted ones, so that they're on their way, so the money will come in when they get them. Got to get the eBay ones packed up, and then that'll be collected by my Royal Mail guys that come in the morning. As I've said before, I have a collection come to the house. It's so much easier, saves on fuel, saves on hassle. So yeah, I need to get cracking with that. So that brings this video to its conclusion. So you've saw what's sold on eBay, see what's sold on Vinted. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like it. It really does help, and subscribe. I still see a lot of people are watching these videos but not subscribing. Maybe they don't like the content. Maybe they're just thinking, you know what, this is boring, I don't want to know. So that's nothing I can do about that. But if you do enjoy it, please drop a subscribe. Really, really, really appreciate it if you do. And I hope everyone has a fantastic few days of sales now and enjoys their week, even though it is raining as usual and has been since the 1st of January. That seems to be all it does. But anyway, guys, you take care and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.